All right, editing in chapter 1. I'm now on segment 13. People do thought experiments all of the time. They just don't call it that. When you think, if I won the lottery, I'd buy my mom a house, that's a thought experiment. Or when you think, I could take that cute girl to karaoke and she'll give me a kiss by the end of the night, that's also a thought experiment. So I'm not trying to teach you a new skill here. I'm simply suggesting that you start using this pre existing skill more efficiently when it comes to your money. For example, take Samantha. She does thought experiments all the time about the cute guys she meets at school and modeling. She imagines them traveling the world or having kids or becoming movie stars together. It would have helped her to use a thought experiment before getting the brand new sports car she leased a year ago that now sits in her brother's garage. At the dealership, Samantha could have really imagined the entire experience. Yes, there'd be the thrill of the new car, but quickly followed with additional insurance, maintenance, and while the manual shift made her feel like a race car driver for a few weeks, it had certainly lost the appeal non-stop shifting and hours of traffic. Excuse me. Perhaps she would have realized that a weekend rental was a better choice than financing a new car. We're creative people. We create art and music and businesses and amazing social connections. So why not create your money sign? Do a thought experiment with unlimited funds into your spend, invest, give, and net accounts. The initial thrill would wear off easily within a year. Once unlimited funds became mundane, what would you really care about? Take Susan, for example. She lives to impress people and does thought experiments where women are jealous of her overnight success. It would have helped her more to do a thought experiment before signing her lease for her studio. Instead of getting caught up in the emotional high, she could have really thought about what the limited parking outside would do for her clients, how the 2 flights of stairs would make it very difficult for her elderly clients because the building didn't have an elevator. Instead of paying for a space that she rarely uses because house calls work better for her clients, she could have invested in better equipment or advertising. Like I said, we all already have this skill. What's new is the way that I'm suggesting you use it. And the beauty of a thought experiment is that it's in your head. No one can take it away from you. It doesn't cost any money. There are no referees enforcing any rules. This is literally something you can do at any time and in any place because it's in your head. I love to do thought experiments for every outcome I can imagine. I'll experience massive success, mild interest, and utter failure for each thought experiment. I'm not afraid of my pain, and I am not a slave to my pleasure. I like to get curious and explore the possible outcomes. Stephanie is an absolute pro at thought experiments, with 6 kids, a husband, and both sets of parents at the helm. She imagines the kids burning down the house, her in laws taking custody of the TV and declaring war on her parents, the debit card being declined in front of her mom, all sorts of things that keep her tired and on the constant brink of tears. It would help her to use this incredibly well versed skill to imagine putting the kids' savings into a high yield mutual fund so that by the time each one graduates, they can afford college and have no need for student loans. We each have the ability to learn and experience much more than just what is available in the physical world. This money experience is yours to master. So I'm going to call this money or thought experiments for money. Thought experiments for money. Thought experiments for money. Thought experiments for money. Alright, chapter 1, segment 14. I did change a setting on the computer, so hopefully it doesn't black out again, but we'll see. 1.14. You should be the foremost expert on yourself. Understanding your money triggers will keep you from being at the mercy of others. Corporations have decades of research on how to make people buy things. Grocery stores found that if they put the fresh greens by the entrance and sugar snacks by the registers, then people purchased more. Salesmen found out that dressing impressively and always smiling, then customers will repeat business with them. Retailers found out that if they purchased a $200 table and marked it up to $1,400 with sale sign for $800, then customers would consider it a bargain. People want your money, from friends and family to strangers on the street. Trust me, if someone is talking to you about getting your money, then they have practiced their pitch. If you don't know your own money triggers, they will be used against you by someone who has dedicated themselves to studying human behavior. If you don't know your money deal breakers, fancy contracts will drain you dry, and you'll hate how your life now feels like a prison. Workbook. Workbooks. Your money triggers. Money deal breakers. By exploring your reactions, questioning your habits, and crafting your money beliefs, you will be ensuring that you stay in control of your money. Explore, react, wisdom. This isn't an overnight process. But neither was learning how to approach someone you're attracted to or that bad habit you now can't kick. People are studying you all the time. Wouldn't it be helpful to know what they are seeing? If you think of yourself as wealthy while your bank account shows you are an S1, people will see an easy mark who will give them money with just a few compliments. It's common knowledge in psychology that people are able to accurately assess their social value. For example, a dumb person assumes they know all the answers, while a leading expert assumes they don't know enough. You are inaccurately assessing yourself. Impossible not to. So set your arrogance down along with the pitchfork and torch. You aren't perfect, and chances are high that you're not gonna like everything you discover about yourself. That's how you grow integrity. You could start with looking at your financial documents. Write out your income and your expenses. Do a thought experiment. If you were a banker giving out large loans, would you offer the bank's money based solely on the numbers in front of you? It amazes me how many people have never looked at themselves the way a bank would, even though they have a house payment, a car payment, several credit cards, and student loans. When it comes to your money, you really are just a number. What numbers look good? Can you sustain them? What numbers look bad? Can you improve them? Once you know the reality of your numbers, it is time to get social advice. Yes, you will be asking them about you and your money habits. No, you will not care about the answer because their answer is actually more telling of them. Let us say you ask your mom how much she thinks you should save in your income, of your income. She answers that since you have bills and kids and deserve a life while you're young, that a savings isn't necessary. You now know she is an S1. Now you ask your aunt, who is a few years older than your dad, the same question. She explains that you have a good job and plenty of time to build a savings, so just set aside 10%. You now know she is an S2. Identifying who is around you and level of advice they are giving will give you better insight into what habits are holding you back. Let me clear here. Let me be clear here. You can find happiness on any level. just as you can find misery on any level. If S1 is what you want, then absolutely enjoy your decision. Just don't meet an S3 and start telling them that their life choice is wrong for them. All right, two things struck me about it is inaccurately assessing yourself, and then the reality of your numbers. I like that. The reality of your numbers. Assess your reality. Accurately assess yourself. Accurately assess yourself. Accurately assess yourself. Don't hit any buttons. Oh, there it is. That's where I went. Accurately assess yourself. Okay. Segment 15. 1.15. Mental fatigue is a real thing. That is why humans have to sleep for hours, so the brain can clean itself and repair, explained Susan to the group she was teaching a new yoga move to. So, I have found it healthiest to change habits in tiny steps. I call it the 1% effort. I call it Susan's 1% effort. That's what this one's about. Susan's 1% effort. Susan's 1% effort. Okay. Any new habit is going to take effort. If it didn't, then it wouldn't be new. So as you hold a pose, give it a 1% effort. Lean into it just a little more. This is all for today. See you next week. Susan dismissed the class. You could take your advice, teased Sally as she walked up to the front. What do you mean? I always fully lean into my poses, defended Susan. Not with yoga, with this. Sally gestured to the little room they were standing in. Oh, we've been over that. My lease is up in 7 months, and then next time I'll get a better place. Susan began packing her gym bag. Have you ever looked at your lease? Or asked to end it early? Sally said, had a smug look. Well, no, I haven't had the time. This is my busy season. Susan started walking around the room, putting equipment away. Okay, Miss Smarty Pants, then let's go right now on our way out. Sally motioned to the door. No, it's fine. Besides, if I change studios, then I'll either have to pay 2 rents for a couple of months, then when I move and my students might get confused and show up at the wrong one, it's just too much right now. Susan started turning off the audio equipment and lights. Sounds like an excuse to me, Sally quipped. No, not an excuse, just valid reasons. Besides, it's only 7 more months. You can help me out all you want then. Susan locked the door and the two started down the stairs. Oh, I do not need a workout after my workout, Sally complained. You are being ridiculous. It's not a workout to walk down 2 flights, Susan laughed. As they were walking past the main office, Sally opened the door and motioned for Susan to go. Damn. Did not even notice that one. To go in. Susan shook her head no and walked towards the exit. When she turned around, Sally was nowhere to be seen. Susan sighed and went into the main office to see what trouble awaited her. Ah, here she is now, my business associate. Sally gave a wink and then continued. We teach fitness in the studio on the 3rd floor, but the stairs are becoming too much for some of our clients. Would you happen to have an available studio on the 1st floor? Susan was now anxious as the man behind the counter looked at his computer. She playfully gripped Sally's arm to scold her. Well, ladies, you're in luck. We have an opening, but it doesn't come furnished, so you'll have to bring your own furniture. Want to take a look? He asked warmly. The new studio was bigger, no stairs, and after a little bargaining, they agreed to keep the rent amount. Susan and Sally got in the car. Susan, I gotta hand it to you. Your 1% effort really works, Sally complimented. Susan just sat up triumphantly. Now all you gotta learn to do is take your own advice, Sally laughed. It never even crossed my mind that they might offer me an upgrade. When I moved in, they said they were always full, so it didn't even occur to me. Susan was still trying to wrap her head around what had just happened. You never know what could happen if you give that 1% effort. All I did was ask a question, and look at how much it improved your business and the lives of your clients. No more stairs for me, Sally slapped her bad hip. Yeah, it's amazing how much can change. Okay. Chapter 1, Segment 16. If you want to play the piano, it doesn't matter how many drills you run playing basketball. Same if you want a savings account, but always cruise the clearance rack for a good buy. I heard it explained once that having a huge bicep when learning to punch is like driving with your foot on the gas and the emergency brake pulled. It'll create a lot of smoke and you'll go in impressive circles, but ultimately you go nowhere and kill your engine. Before you look at bank statements and read financial blogs, stop and think. What life do you want to build? That's totally what stop and think. This is my first use of stop and think. I like it. And it's the end of the chapter, so I like it. Oh, I'm getting excited. What life do you want to build? Sure, the movies say you need fancy cars, drugs, and an endless stream of fuck buddies. And maybe that is for you. However, maybe you like working on your own cars, so older models are better. You enjoy having energy and running marathons, and you love knowing you can trust and rely on your partner. Perhaps you don't like the state taxes where you live, so research lower or no state tax locations. Maybe your brother hates hard work and has an active social life, so his big city loft is great for him. But for you, however, you love spending hours tending to your garden and are an avid online gamer, so being outside the city with a nice yard is better for you, as long as they have high-speed internet. This book cannot tell you what to build because each person is different. That's why the Give account is so important. You are an individual who has something to give the world. This life is yours. Stop diminishing yourself just because some people say it's too much or even not enough. Money is just a tool, and you need to learn how to use it. But don't let people tell you what to build with your life. It's really none of their business because they don't have to live your life. You do. Making money isn't going to do anything for you if you aren't making the life you want. Having a corporate job might impress your father-in-law, but you may get more satisfaction from working with your hands outside in construction. Having money in the bank is absolutely useless if you're miserable. Just the same as having all the material things you crave, but imprisoned with debt, will make you miserable. Your money sign is a fluid habit. At first, you might try out S2 just to get a feel for it. Perhaps that starts working for you, so you try attaining S3, and that goes great for a month, but then you lose your job and you go to S1 for a bit. That's healthy, as long as once the funds are in a category, you only use those funds for that reason. Your money sign is highly personal and should never be a copy of someone else. Your S1 life could look completely different than someone else's S1. Imagine going to a seminar of mine and I separate the crowd into S1, S2, S3, and S4. You go to your S4 group and are asked to share your story. You're excited because you're in the top group, so you assume everyone is as stock savvy as you. You happily explain that you have practiced FIRE for 3 years now, which stands for Financially Independent Retired Early. With modest living, 3 roommates, and steady investing, you happily announce that you live off of 45% of your income. The next person explains that they come from a rich family, which is why they are an S4. The last person in the group explains that they run a restaurant that they now franchise all around the world. All 3 of you are S4. Yet you have nothing in common with them because they like $1,000 bottles of wine and you prefer Mountain Dew at your parties. It isn't about the money. It's about building a life. Ooh, I love me. I love me. I'm fucking awesome. Love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. Where was this book 20 years ago? That would have changed my life. This kind of thinking, this kind of mindset, this is what people need to hear and know and be supported by. So, yeah. Alright, that's chapter 1, edited. We're right about 20 minutes anyway, so I'm going to upload it and we'll get started on the next video after I run an errand.